Hey everyone, welcome back. There was this one question that was driving me crazy for months till I decided to do some research on it, deep dive further, and I then recently wrote about it in my Let Us Lead website. You might have all heard about this term, walk the talk. I mean, you might have heard it or read it somewhere, or heard somebody saying it. Somebody might have given a speech about it. This term has been used so many times that it has become a brand in itself when it comes to leadership and management, and maybe some innovators as well. But somehow I was not happy with the monopoly of walk the talk. I mean, I'm not against the principle of walk the talk. It does work. It have worked, it is working, and it will work, right? It's a proven and tried method. I'm not against it. But I was not happy with the monopoly of walk the talk. Because when I was looking at statistics, I found that only 2.5% of the world or any generation at a given point of time are innovators. And even if you add the number of inspiring leaders, of inspiring sportsmen or artists, all those inspiring people in any given generation, even if you add those numbers to this 2.5%, still the number will not cross 10%. So, which means that over 90% of the people are not inspiring in this world, or they fail to inspire people, right? Or maybe not innovators. So it's fair enough to assume that they are unable to do walk the talk. I know that not all the people in the world will be innovators or can be innovators. But what I was not at ease with is why so less number of people in this world would be unable to inspire generations, right? That is one question that was driving me crazy. And it sent my brain into a crazy inwards journey. And what I experienced was almost a self-guided discovery. I kept asking myself, is there an alternative to walk the talk, which can help those 90% of the people to inspire their team, their society, their generation? And I found the answer as yes. And today I'm going to share in this video my discovery with you. Let me start with two questions with all of you. Question number one, do you trust politicians? Do you find them inspiring? I mean, there are good politicians in this world, but by and large, do you trust politicians in general? And question number two, do you trust your soldiers, your armies of your country, provided you have a professional army protecting the borders of your country? Do you trust them? Do you find them inspiring? Again, I'm talking about in general, right? Now, without even blinking or thinking much, the answer to the first question, most of you would say, no, we do not trust politicians. We do not find them inspiring. And the answer to the second question, that is regarding the soldiers, you would, without again thinking or doing some research or blinking, you will say that, yes, we do trust our soldiers. We find them very inspiring, right? We do not have to do any research. We do not have to do any data mining. We do not have to read any books. We just know it, right? Inside, we just know it. Our gut feeling, we just know it, right? We trust our soldiers. We do not trust our politicians, right? And you have to think that why we do not find politicians inspiring, why they cannot inspire generations, why they cannot inspire young and good people to join politics and do good for the society and their country. The reason is politicians talk first and then they fail to walk. If we study inspiring world leaders like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose or Narendra Modi, or let's say Nelson Mandela, you will find that they could all walk the talk, which inspired people. However, I would like to add one critical observation of mine here. That is, apart from their vision which they articulated to their people, most of their low levels mission or goals were implemented first and then got spoken at length. For example, Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, and post that, when he delivered his speeches or got interviewed about his years in prison, every word touched people. He inspired the world. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose never spent a lot of time talking about his intention to form an army against the British. He just went to Germany, then Japan, formed an alliance, formed an army, and attacked the British. Even after 70 years, people want to know how he created an army, and each speech of his from the archives inspires people. Narendra Modi never told us that he will be sending Air Force to bomb terrorist camps in Pakistan before the mission was over. He spoke after that. He never announced that he will remove Article 370. He might have just given a hint in his manifesto, but that's it. He did not create any hype around it. He did it first, and then all the talks and debates followed. So it's very clear, looking at the inspiring political leaders around the world in different generations, that those political leaders who were able to inspire generations were not only able to walk the talk, but a lot of times they were just talking their walk, right? Now look at professional armies. Before any challenging mission, have you ever seen generals of any professional army, talk at length about what they're going to do, their mission, the details of the mission? No. I'm not talking about the general press conferences done by the army generals, like just a briefing given to the media, like, we're going to take action or stuff like that. I'm not talking about those things. But by and large, in general, do they talk about the details of the mission? No. Sometimes we do not even come to know how many missions the army has failed in, and they do in reality. But in our memory, we can only recall successful chapters of valor of our troops. This is because the army only talks after they have successfully walked. So by now, 4 things should be amply clear to all of you right now. Number 1, if you talk first and then you walk that, right? In that case, you will be able to inspire people and you will be able to generate a lot of trust among your people. Number 2, you talk first, but then you fail to walk. In this case, you will lose trust and you will fail to inspire people. Number 3, you achieve your mission first and then you start talking about it, marketing about it, right? In that case, once again, you will gain trust of your people, you will be able to inspire your people. And number 4, you achieve your mission, you achieve some success, but then you do not decide to talk about it to your people. Now, in this case, you will basically lose an opportunity to generate trust. You lose an opportunity to inspire your people. Have you ever wondered why TED Talks are so inspiring? Why they get so many views from so many people across the world? Now, an average observer will say, well, the speakers are too good, they're well rehearsed with the subject, they deliver an outstanding speech, their articulation is perfect, and they do a revelation at the end, and there's a wow reaction from the crowd at the end, right? All those things are very true, right? Very true that the speakers were great, whatever subject they're talking about, they're well informed about the subject, everything is perfect. But here is my perspective. More than 800,000 views on TED Talk delivered on world peace. An inspiring speech delivered by 1997 Nobel Peace Prize winner Jody Williams. All those attributes like articulation, engaging storytelling, perspectives, slow revelation, etc. were spot on. But just imagine that same speech being delivered by Osama bin Laden in the same style without any deviation. Will that still be inspiring? Amazing, isn't it? The same speech, the same engaging storytelling, the same articulation, right? Everything is the same, but a complete different reaction from the crowd. Talks become inspiring when the person himself or herself through his or her work has first established his or her intention or passion in the society. And then rest of the attribute serves like garnishing your dish. Talks become inspiring when you're talking about how you did it, what you set out to do, and why you did it. And what are you doing now? Nobody is interested much in knowing what you want to do in future till you have already achieved some level of success. Those big talks might motivate some people temporarily, but failing to walk bursts that bubble any which ways. You do not need to be a psychologist to understand that when you talk and declare what you're going to do, you put yourself under tremendous stress to implement what you said. That burden of expectation from others and yourself can make vast majority of those talks and those people uninspiring as they fail to walk the talk. Only those people who have found their passion and mission in life, what in India we say swadharma, can survive the walk the talk test. And we all know that those people are only a handful minority in our world. So I always ask myself this: why only promote walk the talk when we can have more people inspiring us in society if only they can talk their walk properly as well. It is also my personal experience working for over 15 years now in various organizations that a lot of managers and leaders are not that inspiring to the workforce. They are not trusted among their people. And that's because there's a huge gap in what they preach and what they do in reality. Let's say there's a conflict management situation in your team, and you as a manager decide to jump in and pacify the things, and you tell the team that, guys, we are one team, so there should not be any blame game, please calm down and work together as a team, right? There's not a time to play the blame game. But the very next day, when there is a customer escalation coming heavy on you, you start looking for a person in the team whom you can blame, right? Who has done the mistake. Now, this is on display for the entire team, that what you preached last day and what you're doing right now. Not inspiring at all. You cannot generate trust by having these kind of actions in your team. Walk the talk is missing here. Talking is easy and walking is difficult. Talking can motivate you for a short period of time, but it's the actual walking which can inspire people for a long period of time. Remember what I said, only around 10% of the people are able to successfully walk the talk around the world. So why limit yourself to only walk the talk? Why not start talking post you have done the walking? I myself have a nature of not announcing my projects beforehand unless I have already reached a small milestone. I think this helps me to do a lot of work in a day without the stress of commitment to anyone, without the stress of chasing my words. I have nurtured a pattern in my work wherein, although I keep my manager informed about my broader intention, however, I refrain from sharing more details unless asked specifically. Once I achieve my goal, I disclose it and I start marketing it. You might have seen the huge demand of how to do kind of books or articles or videos, and that's because we want to know the recipe of any success. We are naturally very curious species. We are more interested to hear from someone who has tried and tasted some success on how they did it, rather than someone who just thinks and talks that by doing XYZ you can achieve success. That way, even before I speak about my project's success, people are eager to listen to me. Even if you are not the most engaging speaker, people are willing to give you time to tell your story. People are eager to get you involved in bigger projects, bigger challenges, and trust grows. I've even fought with some of my bosses refusing to take initiatives, which I never believed in or I thought will not be sustainable. I'm sure my bosses might not have liked my resistance at that time, but my intention is always to generate trust and inspire people through my work. So I always think about sustainability of a project before I can start anything new. Because I know that starting anything new is exciting. So anybody can start anything new, but sustaining it requires passion and character. And stats prove my point. 90% of the startups fail and 10% fail within the first year. So taking an initiative just to please your boss and just to secure that rating, and that the moment the next year comes, you tend to dump that initiative and pick up another initiative just because your rating has been secured last year. That has not been, unfortunately, my cup of tea. I know there are many managers, many people who does that, and I have a strong apathy towards that. If I'm not sure that I can successfully sustain and execute a project till the end, I tend to not start it at all. So this imbalance of walk the talk needs to be balanced with talk the walk as well, if we want to see more and more people successful in inspiring people. More inspiring leaders will mean more creations, more innovations happening around the world. More people will be able to lead a healthy and fulfilling life. So chances are that maybe you have failed to walk the talk a lot of times in your life. That's okay, we all do, because walk the talk is difficult, as I said. But do not stop yourself to talk to your team and tell them about the good work that you are doing all throughout the day. I have seen many of my peers and managers and leaders who does a lot of hard work. They even sacrifice their weekends for their people, sacrifice their personal time and family time. They do a lot of work, but their team, their people do not know what work their manager is doing, and that's because they put a lot of effort in doing that work, but they put zero effort in explaining to the team, talking to the team on what they're actually doing for them. Do not only depend on walk the talk principle. Start talking your walk. It will help you to generate trust and inspire more and more people in your team and in your organization, as well in society and country. So hope you have liked this video and my perspective. If yes, please share this with more and more people, and especially with those 90% people, just to help them out. And if you have any feedback for me regarding this particular topic, you can put in your comments, and it will be interesting for me to note, and if I'm interested and curious, I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching today's video. You guys have a very nice day. Take care and bye-bye.